Good evening, YouTube viewers and subscribers. Today on the bench I've got this engine. Now this engine arrived at my doorstep today, and this isn't a mystery box or mystery bag or anything like that. I knew this was coming. This is an engine that was sent to me by a good friend of mine, subscriber, John, who had sent me several other engines. The story behind this engine is that he was perusing eBay a little while back and saw this, and apparently he's had one of these engines before, and he thought it would be a good thing for me to have in my collection, so he bought it and just had it shipped straight to me. So this video is partially for John also, obviously, because he probably wants to see the condition of the engine he bought. So if you haven't been able to determine the origin of this engine or the manufacturer of this engine yet, some of you probably have. This is a Wen-Mac MkII engine. Now, I had never even heard of this engine before until John had sent me the email about this. Wen-Mac engines are actually American-made engines, and the company was based in Culver City, California, which by great coincidence is where my sister had lived for many years. This is a Mark II engine, and I really know absolutely nothing about Wen-Mac engines other than what I've seen here. Now, another good friend of mine, John, had sent me this book, which, being an American-made engine, I was hoping I'd find some information on it in here, but I wasn't able to, and the reason? This is volume 2. In the index it shows that the Wen-Mac was actually covered in volume 1. So all I know is that this is a 049 engine. It actually has a standard glow plug, which is quite interesting. For the time period this thing was released, which I believe was in the mid to early 50s. So I have no idea how long this engine was produced. I have no idea how old it is, but I know this. It does look like it's in pretty good shape. Now it appears that it has been run, but it doesn't smell like it has been run, which that tells me that when it was run a very long time ago. And it has good compression. And the thing that's unique about this thing, well, there's several things that are unique about it, is it actually comes standard with a spring starter, which should be quite interesting. Now, when I opened this package up, this needle valve was taped to the blade of this prop. When I untaped it, finally got all that scotch tape off of it, I noticed the needle valve was bent. It wasn't really a big deal, because I was able to just kind of bend it back into place. But based on some other experience from other 049 engines with old props, I will probably never try to run this thing with this prop. I will put a different prop on here, because this thing is probably 40 or 50 years old maybe, and I wouldn't trust that. So anyway, I want to take a quick look inside, sort of this engine. And I say sort of because I want to remove the glow plug and see if I can see about how much runtime, or maybe validate that it has been run before. Now the O-ring that was on this glow plug, and let me show you the glow plug because it's rather interesting. Look at this plug. A rather strange looking little plug. I want to get my glow igniter down here and see if this plug is alive. Oh yeah, that plug's alive. So that's interesting. Now we'll see if we can kind of zoom in here on this. It may be a little close for my camera to want to focus on. I don't really see that thing turning. Okay, yeah, there, the piston's moving. So it's got this slot on the top, so I'm going to see if I'm able to loosen this head at all. Oh, okay, that wasn't too bad. So I notice it's got this slot on here, so I'm figuring it unscrews much like a Cox engine, and this is probably as far as I'm going to go with it. Let me zoom out here just a hair in case I move out of frame. Okay, so it's came off pretty good here. Now you tell me, camera, focus. Yeah, looks like it's been run. Looks like there's some crud in there. So I might actually think about throwing this in the LA's Totally Awesome Cleaner in the ultrasonic and giving it a quick little bath. Here's the piston. Well, whatever is on it is not just wiping off. It feels kind of rough up there. So I don't know. I'm trying to see if we can get a kind of a little bit of a shot in here at that crank pin. I don't really want to take this screw off just because I don't know if there's a gasket there. Oh, what the hell. We're going this far. Let's see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? I damage a priceless engine that will never run again. That would suck. Let's hope that doesn't happen. One thing I think is unique about this is, well, that screw is pretty nasty, is that this fuel line, which may or may not need to be replaced also, it is just connected here, but then it just goes right into the tank. So I have no idea. Oh, okay. There we go. Interesting. So there you go. Let me just pull this little tank off here now. I don't know what that is. If that's just discoloration, or if there's actually something in that, I don't know. I'll put my magnifier on real quick. It doesn't look like there's really a gasket in there. It looks like there's just some caster buildup. So apparently this engine has been run. How much? I'm not sure. Let's do one more thing here. Let's see if this thing is going to allow us to take this prop off. Honestly, I didn't intend to go this far and do this, but since we're here, now I don't know what the deal is with this, and it's a spring starter, so it's possible that I could completely blow that up, so I'm not going to do anything more than that, which is kind of unfortunate because I wouldn't really mind cleaning this up. Looks like, I don't know if I've got, this would probably need something that's a little bit better fit and a little bit of heat. As long as we've done this, let's pull this needle valve out and I'll show you how it's still slightly bent if I can get this spring off of it. Okay, so let me zoom in here. So it's slightly bent. Believe me, it was much worse than that. It was much worse than that. I might actually try and put my magnifiers on to see if I can find a way to straighten it even more. But with that said, and one thing I haven't said yet is, John, thank you very much for this, because this is really pretty freaking cool. Pretty cool engine. Now, as I said, I will not be using this prop when I go to run it, so let's just move that out of the frame. But all of these things, I haven't decided if I'm actually going to just try and clean this thing up. I don't really need to do ultrasonic. I could probably just drop this in a little container of LA's Totally Awesome Cleaner and let it sit and then just toothbrush it off. As far as this thing goes, whew, I don't know. I really don't want to screw with the spring starter at all. Yeah, what is this? Looks like there's a little steel pin that's holding that starter spring in place, so unfortunately I am not going to screw with this at all. But what I think I might, oh look, there's a gasket there. Shit, I don't want to mess with that either. I think I'm probably just going to leave well enough alone, put this thing back together, maybe clean this head up a little bit and call it good, and I don't know, I might actually try and replace this hose, but who knows, I may just use it. So anyway, I think this was initially going to be just a quick look, but it turned out to be a look inside of a Wen-Mac MkII 049 engine. So I hope you enjoyed watching. I enjoyed learning something on camera. Thank you very much for your subscriptions.